Hello, this is Cornelius Radagast, and I am bringing to you my second podcast, and this podcast is going to be on what makes people look bad in the media. Of course, the media and the people that edit the videos have a big part on whether the people they are portraying look bad or good. However, I do think to a large degree how people carry themselves on television and in videos is a good indicator of whether they are considered fools or awesome. Let me give you an example. Bill Clinton, an ex-president of the United States, and Charlie Sheen, a very prominent actor, a multi-million-dollar actor in fact. What happened to Bill Clinton was that while he was married and in the position of President of the United States, he got a blowjob from his secretary, whose name was Monica Lewinsky. He came, incidentally, on her skirt. What Monica Lewinsky did in the aftermath is keep that skirt for several months without washing it. So she had a skirt with cum on it, and his cum had DNA in it. Presidential DNA. This DNA could be used to identify Mr. Clinton. So when questioned about whether he was banging his secretary, Bill Clinton said, "I did not sleep with Monica Lewinsky." Because, of course, sleeping with a woman of lesser stature while he's in a position of power or cheating on his beloved wife would not come off as a good thing. Unfortunately, Monica Lewinsky brought out that skirt with the cum on it, which she hadn't washed, and thus had a means for people to analyze it and find out it was Bill Clinton. Why she kept the cum-ridden skirt with her, I don't know. Maybe it was a setup. It could have possibly been. Why not? Everyone wants to bring down the most powerful person in the States. Everyone likes to see and loves to see people that are higher up fall. We're like crabs crawling out of a crate. You gotta pull everyone else down that's ahead of you, so you'll have a bigger chance of getting out. But then you have Charlie Sheen, and let me go back to Bill Clinton. I guess what really surprised people was that he was, in order to be elected, he appeared to be something that he was not. However, in the case of Charlie Sheen, he was known to sleep around, do drugs. He never really hid it. So while he was married, it turned out that he was having marital problems, which wasn't anything new, but he was having problems in his marriage. And it came out that he was, after breaking up with his one of his wives, probably his third wife, he had a shortcoming, he got together with a porn star, two porn stars, and he was having a relationship with them at the same time. Talk about a winner, huh? So he made it open that he was, these girls were helping out with his family, his kids. He said, instead of shying away when the media questioned him about his ex-drug habits and the fact that he was sleeping with two porn stars and whether they were good influence on his kids, basically what he said, he liked being with the porn stars and they had a very close connection, number one, with regards to their personality. Number two, with regards to sex, he said he gets to experience things on the extreme. He loves living on the edge. So he didn't shy away from the fact that he was sleeping with these girls. He said that, in fact, he was probably having better sex than any one of us because he was sleeping with girls that were used to extremes. Furthermore, when questioned about his drugs, he was like, well, I don't do drugs anymore, and I kicked the habit. I'm not ashamed of having done drugs, because when I did drugs, I did things that would kill normal people. That's how, of course, I didn't do anything stupid, like things that were guaranteed to kill, stayed away from the forbidden mixes, but the amount of drugs I took, like, man, only I could take that. I'm a man, and I don't think any one of you could have taken that. Even his anger, he just came off as, he was like, when questioned about being bipolar, he basically said, you say I'm bipolar, but then I would have a crash and I would be down, but I'm not down. Because I'm always winning. I'm always doing well. It's either I'm on one end of the spectrum or the other, but either way, I'm winning. So I might be winning, but I'm not bipolar. And so he defended his stance. He showed how he was coming out on top, right? These girls, who basically stood up against him, he basically put them in their place. He said that he was capable because of his money to get hot girls. And he basically proved that money could buy love with more than one woman. These two girls were in a relationship with him, and they were sticking around, and I don't think it was because of love. I think it was because of money, and they were fucking him for it. So, what happened next is that you have Asia Carrera and Sasha Grey. These are two prominent, very successful pornographic actors, and they were questioned on several talk shows, right? The thing about, and both of these girls are extremely smart. Asia Carrera has top 95% IQ. She's part of Mensa, which is IQ Society. Sasha Grey graduated from high school with a 4.0 GPA. What happened with regards to Asia Carrera is that when questioned about her past, she told everyone how her parents were pushing her too hard, so she dropped out of school. She became homeless. She was abused by men because she became a hooker for a bit of time. She hated it. She basically gave a tragic backstory. While Sasha Grey dropped out of high school, she knew what she wanted to do. She went and got it. She wanted to become a porn star because she loved sex. She made a lot of money. She became a multimillionaire. She wrote several books. She pointed out how she had a high GPA. She didn't regret any of her actions, and she just came out as a stronger person than Asia Carrera. I just found that was interesting. She didn't look bad, despite the fact that she was taking a morally unacceptable pathway throughout life. A pathway that society didn't agree with. Of course, a lot of people complained when they saw her interacting with children and stuff, they didn't want a girl who had participated in porn to associate with their children and bear an influence on them, which is understandable because parents are Sasha Grey acted very maturely when attacked for that. Another person I'd like to look at is Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was an actor, a successful actor. He was a top bodybuilder in Mr. Universe 7 years in a row, and he became the governor of California, a very high achiever, versus Mike Tyson, who was a boxer back in his time, and however he was a top boxer. In fact, he was so good that people thought he was going to be the greatest boxer of all time before he had a nervous breakdown. What happened with Arnold Schwarzenegger is that he was caught. It was found out that he had a child with his maid while he was married to his current wife, who he just divorced, a Kennedy, right? And if you don't know who the Kennedys are, there was a famous ex-president of the United States called John F. Kennedy. He was assassinated, and everyone loved him and stuff. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, the governor, basically married a relative of that guy. I think she might have even been his daughter or something. However, what happened is that it came out in the media that Arnold Schwarzenegger had slept with this girl and had a kid with him. However, Arnold Schwarzenegger, while this was a surprise to many, if you look at the first video that made him popular, called Pumping Iron, he explicitly says, he doesn't hide who he is, or he doesn't shy away. He's like, I like having sex with all the easy girls. That was one of his lines from his movies, right? Another thing he said is that I will sleep with ugly girls as long as they're a good fuck, right? I'll take a cut on their looks. I don't care. I am going to pause this in order to pick up the phone. I will be right back, and we will get back on this topic. Well, hello. I am back. The phone was ringing, and no one was on the other side of the line. What assholes. But anyways, I hate those calls where people call and then they don't say anything, just hung up. It's like they're waiting for you. It's like they just want to annoy you. Either way, let's get back to what I was talking about. And to make Arnold look even better, the girl he did fuck, his maid, was butt ugly. Let's face it, not many people would fuck that or take a cut on looks that much. Like, and why didn't he use a condom when fucking that girl? She was just, what was he thinking? Was it the roids, Arnold? Like, really? Ugh. If anything, he did her a favor. Because he fucked her, got her pregnant, she had a kid, he was giving her money behind the scenes. So, and plus he never hid who he was, so his wife should have known what she was getting into when she married him. And could you really bring down a guy that has accomplished so much just with one girl? Sure, some people might lose respect for him, but really, he was a 7-time Mr. Universe, that means the top bodybuilder in the entire world. He basically jump-started the bodybuilding revolution in America. Number 2, he was the first real muscular action hero. And he's a successful actor. Really successful. Plus, he owns, like, a series of malls all over America, from what I heard, unless some asshole was lying to me, which is quite possible, so I might just be looking stupid. I never verified that, but from what I heard, he made a lot of money out of buying commodities. So he's a multimillionaire. Then, on top of that, he married a billionaire. I think she was a billionaire. His wife, the Kennedy, offspring of an ex-president that was assassinated. So that in itself was an accomplishment. In addition to this, he had banged several girls prior to becoming, to marrying this girl. Then after marrying her and having kids and stuff, he took it a step further and became the governor of California. And to take it even further than that, he was poor when he was a kid. He was an immigrant. How many immigrants come along and accomplish that much? Not many. And now they're trying to make him look like a fool for just banging some ugly maid and getting her pregnant and giving her child support. Because clearly he probably gave her a better life than if she had continued to be a maid and not have banged him. That was basically like her winning the lottery for her. So, anyways, back to my point. And then we got Mike Tyson. They tried to make Arnold look bad, but since he's so confident and up straight, it didn't work very well. Because he never played the victim, right? What he was is what he said he was. The media tried to make him look like a victim, but he wasn't. Then if we look at Mike Tyson, probably the greatest boxer of all time, he was strong, he was fast, and there weren't many people in his peak that could compete with him. Not even the past champions, I think, personally. But when he was attacked and accused of raping a girl, he got mad, he had a breakdown, he said things he shouldn't have said. The way he came off was as uneducated as, like, his temper tantrums just made him look weak. He talked about his horrid past, his hard childhood, which to a degree was respectful, because he did grow up in the ghettos. However, the fact that he lost his cool and didn't keep his composure when he was mad, the media picked him apart for that. And really, it ruined him. And he didn't have any self-control when he was with the spending. He called bankruptcy even though he was making millions and millions of dollars. He just made a fool of himself. The media picks away at your weaknesses. If you show any weakness, it'll destroy you. And that's exactly what they did to Mike Tyson. It was a sad thing, but as you can see, from looking at these 3 cases I pointed out before, and these people I've pointed out before, if you show any weakness, the media will rip you apart. So if you're doing something, take out strengths from what you're doing, point out how you're doing better than most people with regards to that. Don't get upset. Don't lose your composure. Don't make mistakes, because people are going to try and make you make mistakes. And even if everything's going bad, keep your cool, because there are a lot of assholes that want to bring others down. Like, let me give you an example of this guy I know, or have heard of. His name is Cornelius Radagast. He is the president of a school suite. He basically owns this medical school called Windsor University School of Medicine. He is rich, basically. His father was a professor at a vet school. He started up his own school. He owns several hotels around America. And yet he doesn't look bad, despite the fact that he screwed so many people over. He basically, I've heard of several cases of his unethical proceedings. There's been an article released about him, but I guess the media doesn't have enough on him to tear him apart because he's not in the spotlight. But anyways, that was just some random blurb, and if you want to know more about him, Google him and the school. I'm not going to go into that, but that was a random blurb, and that's what you can expect from Cornelius Radagast. Anyways, we got the Paris Hilton. Now I'm going to go on to more people that look bad, and people done the exact same thing and have not made as much of an effect. So there are several people that have made sex tapes, like Paris Hilton, Pamela Anderson, Kim Kardashian, Dustin Diamond, Hulk Hogan, and Jimi Hendrix. The people whose sex tapes you've probably heard of, if you're a guy, is Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, and Pamela Anderson. If you're a guy or a girl, you probably haven't heard of Dustin Diamond's sex tapes, Hulk Hogan's sex tape, or Jimi Hendrix's sex tape. Why is this? Number one, if a girl that is attractive has a sex tape and she's in the eye of the media and she's known for her sexual appeal, people are gonna hear about it. Because let me tell you something about porn. Porn is like food for men. The majority of men watch it because sex is just in their nature. So, the minute a girl that's somewhat attractive in the eye of the media, who you fantasize about because the media wants you to and puts them out there, you're gonna hear about that. And then the guys like Dustin Diamond, Hulk Hogan, Jimi Hendrix, these actors that had a pretty successful career at one point, they're guys. We don't care. And the major consumers of porn are guys. Let's face it. So, out of all these people who made sex tapes that I have talked about, the person who came off the worst, or who was torn apart the worst out of all of them, was Paris Hilton. Why was this? Why didn't Kim Kardashian or Pamela Anderson look as bad as Paris Hilton? Number one, Paris Hilton inherited her fortune. She's a multi-billionaire. So the minute something as humiliating as a sex tape came out, people jumped on it. They ripped her apart for it. They weren't playing nice. And everyone likes to see people that are doing better than them fall. And that's exactly what they did to her. And they wouldn't let it go. The media liked to put angles on it. It was like, I guess these reporters are the most jealous, obsessive type. And when they got a whiff of way to bring down this girl who had so much given to her, and was doing so much better than so many other people, they gobbled it up. They tore her apart, and they just jumped on it. Then, we got, so, basically, don't do anything stupid while you're in the eye of the media if you don't want to be torn apart, and if you do, own up to it, say you're proud of it, don't act like a victim, anything you think is uncouth, embrace it, enjoy it, like, really. If the media is going to make you look bad, you could blunt the blow by saying you did what you did on purpose, and you don't regret any of it. Because weakness makes you look bad. That's the moral. Even if you did something horrible, weakness makes you look bad. Unless, of course, you committed a crime, like you raped someone or like you murdered someone. Don't say you're proud of that. That's not, no matter what, that's not going to come off as good. Say, if you have a bad habit like drugs, say you stopped it, but you're not ashamed of what you did. Because you experienced life. You lived through things that most people wouldn't have, because you're stronger than them. And you're not addicted. You've overcome things that people won't even try to overcome. You gotta put it better. You can't let the media make you into a victim, make you look weak, make it seem like you showed regret for it. Because it's sort of like the fat victim versus I'm fat and proud. When people are proud of something, or gay and proud versus gay and ashamed, just being, or black pride versus black and ashamed, you know what I mean? Ashamed, media will rip you apart and be like, oh, what a pity. They're so weak. Weakness is never perceived as good. So don't be weak. Say, I'm gay and proud, which I'm not gay, by the way. Or I am fat and proud, and I'm not fat. But you get the point, I hope. Okay, and let me give you an example of the media ripping someone apart. Firstly, let's look at Coney 2012. I'm not sure you heard about this, but this was a video that went viral back in 2012. It was about a guy made it, and he showed how there was, in Africa, there was this warlord who was signing up child soldiers. And he wanted the American government to take action. So he made this video and went viral, people were watching it, blah, blah, blah. A week later, he was caught in a parking lot in a car, masturbating, and then he had run. It just seemed I just found it weird how that had happened. I feel as if something was set up. it was a setup. It just didn't seem right, that Coney 2012 thing. Something seemed so... It seemed like the media was intentionally trying to do something there. Furthermore, if you look at George W. Bush, who was a president of the United States who basically proclaimed the war on terror after the Twin Towers was destroyed in the United States, he was really ripped apart for his actions. He wasn't that much worse. There were worse presidents out there than him, even though he had a low rating of approval. However, it seemed like the media just targeted him in order to make him look bad. They ripped apart, which is good in some ways, but like to make people hate a president to that degree, it made me kind of curious. I felt as if the media was biased against him. And another guy that got ripped apart by the media, but this was for the most common thing that the media rips you apart from, promiscuity, was Eliot Spitzer. He was the mayor of New York, or governor, I forgot what he was. He was something political in New York. He had passed the bill on gay rights. He had brought down the Gambino family's crime control over the trucking garment industry. And he was doing a lot of good. However, suddenly it turns out that he was using prostitutes from an escort agency. Yeah, he was married, and that didn't go down well. However, it just seemed a little bit ironic. I remember hearing the escort who was talking about him, who had slept with him, saying, I wasn't the one that was doing something wrong. He's a sleazebag. He made a promise to his wife, and he wasn't following through with it. And it's just that I found it ironic how she got a career out of the media assassination of Eliot Spitzer. Well, he lost his job, and basically his career was ruined. She became a writer for the New York Times. She got a job. What do you think about that? It's like, I don't know what to say. Eliot Spitzer did so much more than this hooker, who was taking the easy way out. Basically, I don't think if he told her he was married, she would have given a damn. It's not like she has any morals. She's only in it for the money. Let's face it, that's why you become an escort. You want money, right? So, he was sleeping with her, she accepted it, and then suddenly when shit goes down, she got a career out of it, while he ended up unemployed. I just find it ironic how the media does these things. But, out of all these people, Charlie Sheen came out on top, because he didn't hide who he was. He didn't do as much as Bill Clinton, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Eliot Spitzer, or George W. Bush. However, he did own up to who he was. He did show pride, and he didn't show regret. He came out as strong as the end, despite everything that had happened and what had been said. He took everything to extreme. He had great sex. He did crazy drugs. He lived his life, despite what anyone could say. So they tried to take away his career, but then he got it back. He pulled it off pretty well, if I do say so myself. I constantly look over his videos and how he explains himself. He's so well thought out. Everything he says makes sense. I remember them trying to call him bipolar. I might have mentioned this previously. But he was like, I'm not bipolar, I'm bi-winning. Because I am on this constantly winning. No one could take what I have taken. I have pulled things off that other people couldn't take. I like to take things to the extreme. I'm proud of what I've managed to accomplish. This would kill normal people. I have tiger blood in me, right? I just thought it was, despite the fact that he was angry, despite the fact that he was fuming, he still came off as pretty... What he said made sense. Of course, he did have moments, but that was private things that he said to his girlfriend while they were having problems. And these girls, of course, they saved stuff from the past to make him look bad, but even despite the girls trying to assassinate his career, these girls, his exes, they were the only ones that made themselves look bad and made themselves look weak because they had held on to things and they were basically showing to the public private things they shouldn't have shown. Every relationship has problems, but you have to work at it, and if shit doesn't go down, you don't air it to the public unless you have no other choice, right? And I think the girls only made themselves look bad, to be honest with you. So, in conclusion, if you're ever in the public eye, be proud of what you do, own up to it, and realize that a lot of people are doing things that can get them in trouble and could make them assassinated by the media. Tons of people are having sex with prostitutes. There are tons of porn stars. There are tons of sex tapes out there. There are tons of people masturbating in parking lots. It's just a matter of how you handle it. And other than that, it's up to the media's editing of the videos to make the public see you as they want to see you. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. This podcast number 2. I hope I was clear in my talking. I've noticed that I tend to blurt a lot and to make incomplete sort of... I ramble, and then maybe you might lose me at one point. But I'll try to stop that in the future. I hope you enjoy this podcast, and that is all for now. Later till next time.